Now, in this video, I'm going to share with you the number one reason why your communication skills suck. In order to do that, let me explain to you first the concept of overlay. So, when I look into this room, there's a total of 6 chairs. Now, when I look at the chair, in reality, it doesn't exist as a chair. It's a bunch of sticks put together. Now, I call it a chair, and inside of my interpretation, the chair appears. All right. So in reality, it doesn't exist as a chair. It's a bunch of sticks. But when I say chair, it exists for me in my own consciousness as a chair. The word chair carries with it a lot of connotations, functional connotations, structural connotations, etc. Now consider that every single other human being walking on earth, if they were to walk into this room and look at that same chair, they could also use the word chair. However, their conception of chair might be different. So before him or her and I have to discuss or can discuss the chair, anything about it, we've got to get clear about what each one of us means by that word. Now consider that in your relationships, in fact, every area of your life where you're communicating with a human being, what is happening is any mismatch in communication, any incident where they don't get you or you don't get them, what's happening is that there is differing overlays about the issue being discussed or an aspect of the issue that's being discussed. So your communication skills suck because you don't take the time to clarify in boring detail what they mean when they say chair, or what they mean when they say relationship, or what they mean when they say love. If you don't take the time to do that, you're going to be constantly shooting yourself in the foot. And you are not going to be able to produce win-win outcomes for yourself and the people in your life only because you're not taking that step. Now, how do you take that first step? How do you get very good at using overlay to your advantage? Well, you've got to start practicing. The first step is to clarify what you mean by the word you're using. In this case, we're saying chair. And you've got to clarify it for yourself first, because often there's a lot of things about the chair that you are yourself not clear about. So when you communicate it to someone else, you're actually not giving them the full picture. So they're not empowered with a full view of what's in your mind. They don't know that, and you also don't know that. So when you start discussing other aspects of the chair or how it functions in the world, you're going to run into trouble because they have a model in their head about what you think a chair is. And you have another model deep down inside in your subconscious, let's call it, that's having you have an opinion about the chair, which contradicts theirs. So step one, get clear about your overlay, or specifically the definition you have about that word. Next step is help the other person clarify what they mean by that word. And you can do that by asking very incisive questions. And that's why in a future video, I'll be covering how to ask questions. Questions are one of the most important devices in language that are often not used enough by people. It's incredible how many people actually don't see the power of asking not only questions, but the right questions, phrased in the right way, and specifically at the right time with the right tone of voice. Any one of those elements that I just mentioned, if they were just off a bit, it would reduce the effectiveness of the question that you're asking. So that'll be the topic in another video. So the second step is that you help them clarify what they mean by that specific overlay that they are referring or using. Once you have yours clear and theirs clear, now everything's on the table. Both of you are seeing the same picture. So now you can get to work on negotiating, understanding, or simply talking and discussing that thing that is now a point of conflict between the two of you. And mind you, in a discussion between humans, you're not just talking about chairs. You're talking about chairs and kids and families and politics and religion and culture and your feelings and your thoughts and what you expect, what they expect, and what they said yesterday and how they changed their mind before yesterday, and. And so you've got to understand that in order for you to not suck at communicating, you've got to take the time to do the right things. And the right things, or one of the most important, if not the most important, is to take the time to clarify each and every single overlay that you are using in any conversation with another human being. Because remember, overlays don't exist in reality. They only exist in your mind and consciousness. They only exist in language. And every human being walking on earth has their own overlay. And it would be a coincidence, a stroke of luck, that two people have exactly the same overlay about that thing they're talking about. So imagine that there aren't just 1 or 2 or 5 or 10 or 20 overlays. There's actually 8 billion overlays over one specific object or thing that you could be talking about. And so I hope this clarifies for you how important it is to walk around with a deep understanding of overlay and a deep, deep commitment to practicing clarifying yours, helping the other person clarifying theirs, and then going to work to communicate. Why? So you can produce win-win outcomes for yourself in your life. And that, my friend, is the beginning of leadership. If you like this video, comment and subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.